Alright, my little aliens. Fred was one of the parts of my childhood that I remember very vividly. The entirety of the Fred lore is absolutely insane. If you're unaware of Fred and his lore, I'll give you a brief rundown. Fred Figglehorn is a character that was created by Lucas Cruikshank, and now I'm going to be reading directly off of Fred Figglehorn's Wikipedia. Fred lives with his grandmother and his mother, who is a recovering drug addict and alcoholic stripper. This is not funny. Fred has been the victim of child abuse, and his father is a former rock musician and currently on death row in the state. This is not funny. This is not funny. Fred is perpetually 6 years old and in kindergarten. This is not funny. Now I'm going to be telling you my knowledge of Fred, straight from my dome. Fred's getting bullied by pretty much everyone, but mainly this guy named Kevin. We don't know that much about Kevin other than he has a crush on Fred's crush, Judy. Judy in Fred's videos is also a bully. In Fred's mind, he's dating Judy, which, no offense, is what a lot of the current population is doing with their celebrity crushes. But instead of this person being completely unattainable, Judy lives next door. One last thing that I want to throw out there is that Fred refers to Pomeranians as squirrels, and in the movie, well, I guess it's two things I'm throwing out there. In the movie, he is in middle school. He's not 6 years old and in kindergarten. So a production company heard about Fred and learned his lore and decided to make a movie out of it. My mom actually gave me this video idea, and I started looking for the movie online, but it's not on any streaming services. Like, it's absolutely not. So I bought the physical copy off of eBay. This movie has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. So we're introduced to Fred, his girlfriend, Judy, and his rival slash bully, Kevin. And today, unfortunately, was the worst Friday ever for Fred. He got hit with balls. And in music class, Fred saw Judy and Kevin singing a duet together. So now, Fred wants to have a conversation about it with Judy. By the way, in the movie, Judy isn't one of Fred's bullies. She's actually nice to him. So Fred's planning on inviting Judy to a pool party so he can talk to her about it and make Judy forget all about Kevin. But while he's setting up for the pool party, we meet Bertha. And she's kind of a loner, an outcast. Bertha makes fun of Fred for his kiddie pool so he doesn't end up inviting Judy over. And Fred's struggling a little bit here. He feels like he doesn't know anything about women.
Dad, what do you think I should do?
His dad in the movie is John Cena. That's the funniest thing they could have ever done. Fred talks to John Cena and he forms his plan.
I've got to invite Judy over so we can harmonize together.
So in order for Fred to win back Judy, he's going to invite her over so they can sing together. That's the plot of the entire movie.
Nothing is going to come between our love, Judy. Nothing. Oh my damn it, Kevin!
Someone please let me know if this is normal, but Kevin is dancing outside with all the car doors open, including the trunk, and a mirror. I was alive in 2010, and I have no memory of ever seeing anyone do this. Anyway, despite Kevin being outside, Fred still wants to go over to Judy's house and invite her over so they can sing together. But literally as soon as Fred walks outside, Kevin starts making fun of him, and then Fred tells Kevin that he can't sing. And to absolutely no one's surprise, Fred doesn't hold his ground.
She thinks you suck at singing.
Oh, you're gonna get it, Figglehorn. You want some of this?
She said it, I didn't.
Fred's mom comes home, and this little asshole thinks it's Kevin trying to break into their house.
I'm gonna go to prison with the fattest people ever!
Fred, open the door!
Oh. Mom, sorry.
This movie's so stupid. So obviously Fred failed in his attempt to get Judy to come over and sing with him. So John Cena comes back and tells Fred to come up with another plan and figure it out. Fred's plan B is to get over the wall that separates his and Judy's backyard. And his first plan is to jump over it with a trampoline, but that doesn't work. So then he decides he wants to dig a tunnel to get to the other side. And it works. But
I dug all the way to China!
Fred believes he dug all the way to China. This is so dumb. Fred comes up with a different plan, which is to disguise himself. That's really hard to say. To disguise himself. Fred's disguise worked for a little bit, but Kevin realizes it's Fred, so he doesn't end up asking Judy. He peeks through the window though, and then runs back home. By the way, this is what Fred saw when he peeked through the window. So Fred calls 911 and tells them that Judy has been kidnapped, and they don't take him seriously at all, because of course they don't. But imagine for a second, Judy was kidnapped. Anyway, so Fred is screaming, and his mom comes downstairs and tells Fred that Judy has moved, and now he's absolutely losing his shit.
I didn't know you'd be so upset. I wrote the address.
Mom, she's my girlfriend!
Fred has a dream about Judy's alleged kidnapping, and the next day he's making it his mission to find Judy. So he looks up her address online, and by the way, in the previous scene, Fred's mom literally says that she has Judy's new address, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Fred finds Judy's address online, and he starts to think up his new plan, but he wants to avoid the woods after what happened to
Little Evan Weiss.
Fred packs a bag and steals some money from his mom for the bus fare. He leaves the door wide open and starts his mission. So to get to Judy's new house, Fred needs to get on the number 7 bus, but Kevin starts following him all the way to the bus stop, and Fred doesn't want Kevin to know where he's going. So he gets on the first bus that arrives, which happens to be the number 6 bus.
Uh-oh. I'm supposed to be on the number 7 bus.
Fred meets Durf on the bus, and Durf clearly isn't real, and it's crazy that even in Fred's own imagination, he's annoying and uncool.
Huh?
End of the line!
You're gonna kill us!
The bus gets to the end of the line and Fred has to get off, and he ends up at the pool. And Bertha's there. Bertha buries him in the sand, and as people start filing in, he gets hit in the head. And then he starts hallucinating Judy drowning in the pool and Kevin saving her. So now Fred goes to a laundromat so he can clean his clothes. And unfortunately, Fred didn't pack Fred a change of clothes. So he's now naked in this laundromat. The owner of the laundromat sees Fred and tells him he can't be naked in the laundromat, and this whole scene is stupid and weird.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh.
No.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Get your butt out of
So
here.
obviously Fred doesn't want to be dirty when he sees Judy again. So instead of going home and maybe like getting a change of clothes, he goes to a car wash. I'm starting to think that maybe Fred has a problem with maladaptive daydreaming or a bigger undiagnosed issue. He continues his mission to find Judy, but then he gets sidetracked by this pet store that's selling squirrels. And do you remember what I told you earlier? What are squirrels?
Pomeranians.
Dogs.
They're
No
dogs.
idea. Thank you. They're Pomeranians. So Fred wants to buy a squirrel and give it to Judy, but unfortunately he's broke.
Never mind, Lorenzo, he's broke.
Instead of just leaving and taking the L, Fred decides he wants to steal the dog.
Put the dog down.
Yeah, by the way, Oscar from The Office is in this movie. And now this whole unfortunate ordeal unfolds.
Look what you made us do!
My beautiful eyes.
Fred leaves the store and then he encounters this man who only speaks Spanish, and he thinks he's a spaceman that is trying to ruin his brain.
Debes devolver a tus padres locos.
Get away from me, spaceman. I will not let you ruin my brain.
Now, do you guys happen to remember the plot of the movie? To refresh your memory, the whole plot is Fred trying to get Judy to come over to sing with him. How did we get here? We're getting back on track. Now, to get to bus 7, Fred learns that he has to cross through the woods. But do we remember what happened to little Evan Weiss? Fred ends up completely fine, although he does hallucinate a deer singing with him in the woods. And he also encounters little Evan Weiss.
The ball! I got the ball! I got it!
Fred gets on the bus, and there's this lady who's holding a squirrel, and Fred takes the squirrel and finally ends up at Judy's house. Just kidding, he was dreaming. Actually gets to Judy's house, and she's having a party, and Fred wasn't invited. Judy tells Fred to leave, but Fred starts pleading with her, and then Kevin smashes a piece of pizza on Fred, and then Fred vomits. Fred gets home, and his mom tells him that she saw the video of Fred vomiting at Judy's party. Fred learns that Kevin posted this video to YouTube, and he decides that he wants to have a party of his own and disinvite everybody. Fred shows up to Bertha's house and he's going to give her a disinvitation, but Bertha tells Fred that she saw the video and she didn't think it was very funny. So Fred actually invites her to this party. Now, since a single other person was invited to this party, Fred and Bertha try to make it seem like there's like hundreds of people at this party. It's a whole montage.
This party be off the hook.
Fred edits the video and he can't decide whether or not to post it, but he accidentally does post it. And everyone at school the next day is talking about how awesome Fred's party looked. Because of course, Fred doesn't go to school. Instead, he's sitting at the family computer looking at Judy's house on Google Maps, and he zooms into the window and sees a dude shitting. And his mom actually recognizes this dude.
Ew! How do you know him? We had a date once. That was about, I don't know, 15 years ago. I'm 15. I'm taking a nap.
This sparks a question for me, and not the obvious one. Fred is 15 years old in middle school. I was a junior in high school at 15. Judy shows up to Fred's house and apologizes, and of course Fred forgives her, and then that is the end of the movie. I will say, I did thoroughly enjoy watching this movie. I had to watch it 5 times, and I really liked it. I loved this movie. I gotta be honest. This movie is hilarious, and I feel like it's heavily underrated. I don't understand why it has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie is so funny. Did some parts age well? No. But this movie is funny. This movie is funny. This movie is how Gen Z's humor is. It perfectly encapsulates our humor. I recommend everyone watch this movie. I think everyone should watch this movie at least once. It's incredibly dumb. It's stupid. This movie's so dumb. Unfortunately, it's not on any streaming services, so buy the DVD, please. That's really it. Stop looking at me.